Hi, Gil from Testing Gil here. Today, let's talk about charters. Specifically, we're going to take a UI-based product and build a list of charters for this. This is part of our exploration testing video series. If you haven't seen the introductory ones, go watch it here. Obviously, we won't start creating a list for the entire product, but we're going to focus on one feature: adding a book in our Bigger Better bookstore app. Here's the workflow. We're starting off from a menu item called Add a Book, but this menu item is only available for administrators. Next, there's a form to enter the book details. It looks like this. We have the details, title, author, description, year of publication, genre, and price. You also need to upload a cover. Then we get a confirmation page that contains all the things that we entered, like this. That's it, and once you confirm, the book is in. But just with this workflow, we can create a whole lot of charters. The first thing I'll start with is the who. Who can add or cannot add a book? Now, I bet you're thinking about who can start the workflow with a menu item, but that's not all. There might be a scenario when someone starts adding a book, doesn't complete it for some reason, and then the same person or someone else tries to continue this process. And this person may not have the same permissions. What happens then? We'd like to explore. So we can have a separate charter just for starting the process. Okay, next, what is our go-to feature here? Entering the details, of course. Here we can try different data types, like existing books, new books. The more data fields and types that we have, it will get more and more complex. As we're starting to come up with more and more areas, we can decide if they go into the same charter or split it into smaller charters. One of the things we can focus on is adding a book from a new author, one who is not in the system. This can lead us, for example, for a whole new charter, or maybe this charter already exists, and that charter would be about adding a new author. For example, what if we have multiple authors with the same name? And because our system is smart and has an AI in it, it will suggest similar names to what we typed from the list of existing authors in the system. When we're starting to think about more and more interesting cases, we can combine them or split them into different charters. We can have whole charters about invalid data or missing data. Again, if we figure out it's too big or figure out it's going to take a while to do this and it won't fit into a single session, we can split those into smaller charters that will. There could be a whole charter or maybe subset of charters about navigation. We can check what kind of information is stored when we're moving forward and backwards. Maybe even breaking off, going somewhere else, and coming back again. Then we can add to that multiple logins. What happens if I'm logged in both in the web browser and from a mobile application and trying to do the same thing, adding a book from both? Just throwing in a mobile interface here will get us into a whole land of new charters. For example, if the screens look the same in different versions of Android OS. Okay, let's take this a step further. What happens when we try to add the same book again, but with a different set of details? Or even better, what happens if we try to do that, but the same thing from two different tabs on the browser? What will happen then? Who will get there first? Who's the winner? And of course, what happens if we don't have like two tabs, but a million tabs trying to do that at the same time? So we can have a separate chapter just on parallel multiple entries. By the way, if this process sounds a bit familiar, this is SF Depot all over again. I'm just running through different cases and turning them into charters. If you haven't watched the SF Depot series yet, you can watch the whole thing here. Got more charters? Great. Had enough? That's good too. You can now go and start testing. And if in mid-testing you realize you need 3 more charters, add them to the list too. For example, if you didn't think about it, but now you do think about accessibility, you can create full charters for those as well. The lightweight process of creating charters and the low-cost maintainability and the flexibility of changing them and rearranging them helps us get to testing early and to the point when we decide of what to do when we see interesting things. And then we get to the good stuff. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and watch other videos on this channel. And in the comments, tell me how you covered whole walls with charter notes, and send pictures. Until then, bye-bye.